about 2.6 odd points down in the Nifty. I'm going to wrap out this edition of the 230 Factor. Thanks very much for watching. Leaving you with an excerpt of my colleague Arijit Banerjee's interview with the Sistema chief in Delhi. Listen to that. Business News 2020 comes up after that.
We have with us Mr. Sevalod Rozanov, the head of MTS's operations in India. Mr. Rozanov, welcome to the show. Just wanted to understand, your Q3 results have come. There is, of course, increasing pressure because your licenses are under the question mark because of a Supreme Court order. But want to understand, you have decided consciously not to participate in the CDMA spectrum auctions which happened. Why is that, and what is your plan B?
Right. Good afternoon. Thank you for your question. We clearly decided not to participate in the spectrum auction for 800 spectrum because our curative petition is pending with the Honorable Supreme Court. We do believe that we were completely unnecessarily clubbed together and with all the other operators, because in the 800 spectrum, as we all aware, there was no any demand. For many years before 2008 and specifically in 2008 also.
It seems you're not the only one. There has been nobody who has actually decided to bid for the CDMA spectrum. So the government may in fact have to go for a re-auction or auction the spectrum again. Now, of course, we know that a lot of people are uncomfortable with the pricing. What is your call on this? If the government decides to re-auction the spectrum and the pricing is different, let's assume it is lower. Would you then be willing to enter the bidding process?
Well, first and foremost, for us, for the business continuity, it is critical to see the decision. We, of course, hope for the positive decision if we're able to convince respectable Supreme Court, but any decision on the curative petition is critical. This is the cornerstone for all the future decision. Of course, if decision is positive and we are given the opportunity to continue our business and we are interested in continuing our business, we of course will be definitely considering acquisition of additional spectrum through any route which government will be able to offer that time. Of course, it's subject to many, exactly pricing and the route itself and so on and so forth. But in principle, I can confirm that with 2.5 megahertz, you cannot do much in telecom.
What happens, because of course it's a Supreme Court, the decision can go either way. If it goes against you, then what do you do? Would you still be looking at participating in the auction?
Well, at this stage, I hope that our arguments will be taken into account. So I would prefer not to comment on the plan B at the moment, if any plan. I don't want to think about any plan B.
But do you think the pricing is still high, the 1.3 times?
Yeah, of course. I think there is no any connection between GSM and CDMA pricing. As you know, CDMA ecosystem is completely different. It's much more difficult to do business in CDMA. And hence, I don't see any linkage in regards of any coefficient or anything.